All right, let's get right into it. We are talking about one of the most sensitive and strategic materials on the entire planet, enriched uranium. And this isn't just some academic debate about energy policy. No, this gets to the very heart of national survival.
And look, this isn't some far-off what-if scenario. Just picture it. It's late 2024. Russia, a country that controls almost half the world's enrichment capacity, just flips a switch and cuts off the U.S. completely. All of a sudden, a massive strategic vulnerability that's been hiding in plain sight is exposed for everyone to see.
So that's the big question, right? How on earth did we get here? How did the country that literally pioneered nuclear technology end up depending on its biggest rivals for the fuel that runs its power plants and, get this, its nuclear navy? Let's unpack that.
To really get this, you have to understand why enriching uranium is nothing like drilling for oil or mining coal. It is a fundamentally different beast, and there are 3 huge reasons why.
Okay, first, and this is the big one, it's a dual-use technology. The very same equipment, the same centrifuges that enrich uranium to power a city, can be tweaked to produce weapons-grade material for a bomb. That is a massive, massive national security risk you just don't get with any other energy source, period. Second, just look at that number. $10 to $15 billion to build a single plant. And the payback on that? Maybe 20 or 30 years. You tell me, what private investor is going to sign up for that? The math just doesn't work. It's what you'd call a classic market failure.
And third, let's say a company somehow got the money. Well, they would be absolutely steamrolled by foreign state-owned competitors. See, companies like Russia's Rosatom, they don't play by market rules. They don't need to turn a profit. They can sell uranium at a loss, forever, just to corner the market and drive any U.S. competitor straight into the ground.
All right, so it sounds like a slam dunk for government control, right? But hold on. To be fair, let's look at the other side. Let's make the strongest possible case for keeping the free market in charge of enrichment.
So the first big argument is all about innovation. You know, the idea that private companies competing is what gives us all the cool new tech. But the counterargument is pretty strong. Centrifuge technology is already super mature. The real cutting edge, the place we need innovation right now, isn't the fuel. It's in designing brand new types of reactors.
The second argument is a classic you've heard a million times. Government is slow, inefficient, and crazy expensive. And you know, sometimes that's true. But here's the kicker. The actual data tells a totally different story. France's state-owned enrichment company, Orano, is one of the cheapest and most efficient in the world. So much for that theory.
You know, the best part is, we don't even have to guess about this stuff. The United States has already run this experiment. We actually tried privatizing uranium enrichment. So, how did that turn out? Yeah, this timeline pretty much says it all. It's a brutal story. Back in the 90s, the U.S. created this private company, USX. For years, it struggled, it couldn't modernize, and then in 2014, it went bankrupt. The market-based approach wasn't just a failure, it was a total disaster that created the exact dangerous dependency we're dealing with today.
And on the flip side, it's not like the government can't do this stuff. In fact, we have amazing examples of government excellence. The U.S. Navy's nuclear program, a perfect safety record. The TVA, a government-run utility, is one of the best nuclear operators out there. And we already mentioned France's Orano. So the whole idea that government is just naturally bad at this, well, the evidence just doesn't back it up.
So if letting the market run wild was a failure, but full-on nationalization feels, well, not very American, what's the answer? Well, the source material suggests a really smart hybrid model. It's all about drawing a clear line in the sand between what the government has to do and where the free market can really shine. Here's a great way to picture it. Think of the government's role like the Federal Reserve. The Fed doesn't own all the banks, right? But it ensures the stability of the core money supply. In this model, the government ensures a stable supply of the core commodity, the fuel. And that lets the private companies, acting like innovative banks, do what they do best: compete, build new reactors, and serve customers.
And this chart just lays it out perfectly. Look, full privatization, it fails on security and national security. Total disaster. Full nationalization, okay, it solves the security problem, but you might kill innovation in the wider reactor market. But look at the hybrid model. It solves the security problem and it actually unleashes private sector innovation where we need it most. It's the best of both worlds. And the logic is really a simple 1-2-3 punch. First, the government takes control of the one critical choke point, the fuel supply. Second, by doing that, it removes the biggest risk for private investors because their main cost is now stable and predictable. And third, with that risk gone, private money can finally pour in to build all the amazing new advanced reactors we keep hearing about. It unlocks the whole thing.
So, when you strip away all the layers, this isn't really a simple economic debate. It's a fundamental choice between sticking to a free market ideology, no matter what, and ensuring national sovereignty. This quote right here just nails it. Uranium enrichment isn't a product like a car or a smartphone. It's a sovereign capability. It's on the same level as the ability to mint your own currency or to build an aircraft carrier. Think about it. Would we outsource building our aircraft carriers to the lowest bidder in another country? Of course not. So why are we doing that with the technology that fuels our entire nuclear enterprise?
So I'll just leave you with this final question. When we're talking about something this essential, something we literally cannot survive without, what is the real risk here? Is it the potential for some inefficiency inside our own government? Or is it the cold, hard certainty of being dependent on our adversaries?